I'm in Birmingham to ride the new Camp Hill line, which opens today, and visit Moseley village station for the very first time. But this is not just any train travel log, this is something a bit more personal. So first day of operations on the Camp Hill line. I'm on one of the very first trains and we are going from Birmingham New Street along the Camp Hill line to Moseley Village, King's Heath, Pineapple Road, great station name, and then King's Norton. Pretty exciting. They're using these Spanish CAF diesel trains. It's not an electrified route, so you feel the purr of the diesel. So quick to Moseley. That has taken, I think, 8.5 minutes. It used to take me 30 minutes on the bus to get to work. Very fast.
Are on the Moseley village.
So we're now going through the tunnel in Moseley, and when we come out of the tunnel, we'll be able to see exactly where I used to live. It's just up here. Wait till we come out of the tunnel. I used to listen to the trains. There we go, and there is my house. That is so funny. Wow. I used to live up there, and I listened to the trains coming down here, and yeah, finally got the chance to go on one. It's so strange to be on here. Pretty exciting. Mostly to King's Heath station. It's a very small gap as well. It takes probably like 1 minute. So we're here on the first day of the operation of the Camp Hill line, April the 7th, 2026. And this is one of the first trains going from King's Heath. We're at King's Heath station. It's very cute. They've got security guards because there's so many people who've come sightseeing here today, first day of operations. It's also very funny because a lot of the visitors here have maybe never been to Birmingham before, so they're talking about their first impressions of King's Heath and Moseley. Obviously for me, it hits home a little bit more because I used to live here, so it's very exciting. But yeah, it's really incredible to see this place. I used to walk past the site of King's Heath Station so many times, and it looked so obviously ripe to be reinstated as a train station. Now this is really cool. There's a locomotive coming, which I'm going to capture. I wish I was a train spotter and knew what it was. Class 31. This is train spotter's ideal day out, really. Look at this. New additions to the West Midlands Railway map. Pineapple Road, King's Heath where we are, Moseley Village. Amazing. Heritage sign has been preserved. These three stations, Moseley Village, King's Heath and Pineapple Road, which was called Hazelwell, were closed in 1941 during the Second World War. So they've been closed since the 1940s. It's been a long time coming to see them reopen, but the people of Birmingham are out in force and they seem very happy about it. So this is a bit of a personal one for me. I lived in Birmingham for a few years. I saw this railway. I lived right behind it. I could hear the trains, and it's been such a part of my life. So it's really fascinating to come and see it on its opening day. Also, and I'm sure this is becoming a motif of these videos, it won't surprise you to learn they were late. These things happen, I think, with infrastructure. We just saw another train pass by. So this line goes to Kings Norton and then it connects to the Cross City line. Now, it's often been used for trains that are going from Birmingham to Worcester or to the southwest towards Bristol that have been non-stopping through the city, historically cross-country, central trains before that kind of thing. So trains have used this line, the Camp Hill line, but these stations have been closed. So the line has been open for freight and for non-stopping passenger trains. So you always used to see trains come along this line, but what's new is that they reopened these stations. So I thought I'd tell you a little bit about myself. My name's Chris. Christopher is my full name if I've been naughty or if I'm in trouble. That's generally what I get called. I've been a writer for my whole career. I was a journalist when I was here in Birmingham, writing about the arts and then being an editor, music, film, theatre, comedy, all those kind of things, art, architecture. And then since then, I've written some books as well. So I've written some non-fiction books, one about Lidos called Lido, one about city parks called City Parks, one about architecture for cars called, well, you get the picture. Now, the one that I wrote about trains, train stations, station architecture, and the joy of train travel was called Station. And that kind of fits into what we're doing today because I've always loved trains, train travel, and adventure. But I also wrote a novel called The Wall in the Head, which is something I'm going to tell you about a little bit later. But since then, I've also been doing comedy, stand-up comedy. I've done a split show at Edinburgh, and I'm going to be doing another show at Edinburgh this year. And I've also been working on film scripts. I love film and I love TV. And I guess that's one of the reasons that I thought it would be fun to start making these YouTube films. Now, as you can tell, I am a very new YouTube maker, creator, whatever you want to call it. I'm still learning what to do. But because I love making films and I love stories, I think it's going to work out. I hope so. But yeah, I thought you might think, well, who is this guy? And maybe you want to know a little bit more. So there we go. Just walking between Kings Heath and Moseley, remembering all the times I used to walk up and down this road. And I've been remembering the soundtrack to being here as well. I remember listening to a lot of Outkast, Kelis, and Thursday. Comment below if you like any of those. The first house I lived at in Moseley, a share house. Also, backed onto the railway line, you can spot a pattern emerging here. And fun fact, one of the people that moved in with us was a divorcee who worked for Biffa. It's a true story. A waste management contractor who was going through a divorce joined us in that house. It was all fun and games. My phone's running down, but look at this. Birmingham City Council has started providing free chargers to every street in Birmingham. My novel, The Wall in the Head, was a tribute to living here in Birmingham. It was my love letter to a city that is not really loved. Birmingham is the strangest city in Britain. It doesn't really know itself, and people don't know it either. But Brummies have a great sense of humour. And that's one of the things I wanted to evoke in the novel. Now, I love things that are meta. In the novel, there is a book within a book. There is a book about brutalist buildings that one of the main characters, Belinda, has written, and I have excerpts from that in my novel. Now, I'm not giving this away because this happens right at the start. We find out that Belinda has died. As a tribute to Belinda, to his late wife, the other main character, Donald, makes a TV series about her. It's his love letter to her, and it's about the buildings that she loved. So they travel around Britain looking at all the buildings that she wrote about, all the brutalist and modernist buildings, and they make a TV program. Now, life can come full circle. I'm now making a program, and I've done some other TV programs before, but I'm making a program about Birmingham and about the book and about the ideas behind it and about them making a program. And it's funny how life can be circular like that. And I love that meta angle as well. The characters work at a fictional TV station in Birmingham, and I love regional TV. I love nostalgic TV. I love TV that's sometimes quite bad, which is why I'm making YouTube videos. It's so funny to be back here. Down the road behind me is the house that I used to live in Birmingham. So I lived here in Moseley for a few years while I had a job writing for a newspaper and then editing on the arts desk. And I lived in this house for some happy years. This house backs onto the railway line, and I used to be able to hear the trains coming. And I always dreamed that one day I'd be able to get one of those trains. And while I remember, fun fact, we got burgled in that house. I called the police. The police arrived. They sent the sniffer dogs out, and it transpired that the burglars had scrambled down the embankment and onto the railway line, and they escaped from the police. True story. I love these Edwardian terraced houses that I used to live in. They have so many beautiful features: stained glass, tiled floors. These were the houses for the aspiring new middle class of Birmingham, and Moseley was quite a middle class place. So the clerks in the factories, the accountants, the managers, people that worked on the railway even, they could live in these houses and they could commute into the centre of Birmingham to work. I'll tell you what, say what you like about Birmingham, but Brommies are very friendly people. A lovely lady called Veronica was just chatting to me about the stations. She lives between King's Heath and Moseley. I said, will you get the train? And she said, no, it's the bus for me. I'm pumped to see that Moseley's first public co-working space has opened. What's Moseley's biggest claim to fame? Well, it's probably this. J.R.R. Tolkien grew up here in Birmingham. There are two towers at the Edgbaston Reservoir, Ladywood Reservoir, which were inspirations for the two towers. And then he explored Moseley Bog and Sarehole Mill when he was a kid. And those were the inspirations for him when he was creating his fantasy worlds. So Tolkien, son of Moseley. Welcome to Moseley Village Station. I have been waiting for so long for this station to open. It's so sad, but it's so true. And I promised myself and I promised everybody that I would be here at this station on its opening day, whether it opened when I was 100 years old or not. I said, I'm going to be here. I have made that happen. It's April the 7th, 2026. I think it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm here at Moseley Village Station. This is the opening day of Moseley Village Station. They asked the inhabitants of Moseley what name they would like for the station. They could have chosen Moseley or Moseley Village. They chose the name that will increase their house prices the most. Now everybody is going to call Moseley Moseley Village, and it's probably added 10k onto the price of a property. I wish I had bought the house that I used to live in by the railway. Now, one of the things I really love is local TV. One of the main themes in my novel, The Wall in the Head, was local TV. One of the main characters, Donald, works at the fictional local TV station in Birmingham called Mids TV, where he writes bad comedy programs and bad quiz shows and stuff like that. And I love those channels and I love that content. Watch Rivals if you haven't. That's a big part of what I talk about in the book. And I love how Birmingham sees itself. Some of you might know I do a night called Brum on the Box at MAC, the Midlands Arts Centre, where we show TV about Birmingham and made in Birmingham. And there's so many funny things from the archives, so many funny shows, so many surreal things like Gangsters, this bizarre 70s show. So I think it's really interesting how people see themselves and how they are presented. And the local news was actually here. I think they might have gone just recently while I was uploading some video. I need to get more storage. So I'll be very interested to see what it looks like on the local news. I was on Midlands Today last year when we were promoting Brum on the Box. And it's very interesting to see how people see themselves. Also, Catherine O'Flynn's book, The News Where You Are, is fantastic for that as well. If you haven't read that book, read it. So we're here at the beautiful St Mary's Church in Moseley from 1541. I think this will be a good place to end. I'm going to get the train and go back to Birmingham and make another video. Stay tuned for that. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. It's been a little bit unusual. Let me know what you think. Is it nice to have something a bit more personal with a bit of backstory? Or do you just want facts? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Likes are always welcome. Even better, I would love it if you could subscribe. Join me again very soon. My name has been Christopher Beanland. Thanks and goodbye. So it's a train back to Birmingham that I'm now getting on. The first time I've ever got a train from Moseley Village. Thanks for coming with me on my nostalgic tour of Moseley. I hope you've enjoyed the ride. There's one final stop. This is the place where I once held my then girlfriend's hair while she was being sick after a heavy night out. There's nothing more to be said.